Manx Radio Sport.
Minutes past 5 here on your nation station, Manx Radio AM, and this is Classifieds. Thank you for joining us. Storm Amy tried her best, but we still got sport here on the island. We've got Tony Mepham and Dave Christian all here for Classified. As well as that, we'll be heading down to the bowl for Rob Pritchard to give us team news for FC Alaman against Bonarswick Town. But first, as always, we'll start with the classified results. And we are going to start in football and the Canada Life Men's Premier League. Corinthians 3, Onchan 1. Union Mills against Laxey, match postponed. Braddon 3, Douglas High School and Old Boys 3. Foxdale against Peel, match postponed. Ayr United 0, St Mary's 4. Russian United against St John's, match postponed. Arden and Druggan Division 2. Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 5, Douglas Royal 1. Governors Athletic against Douglas and District, match postponed. Castletown 5, St George's 1. Maloo against Colby, match postponed. Canada Life Combination 1. Onchan v Corinthians, match postponed. Douglas High School and Old Boys against Braddon, awaiting result. Laxey v Union Mills, awaiting result. Peel 2, Foxdale 3. St Mary's 6, Ayr United 4. And St John's United against Russian United, match postponed. Arden and Druggan Combination 2. Marown against Jims, awaiting result. Michael United against Maloo, match postponed. Douglas Royal 2, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 9. Douglas and District 0, Douglas Athletic 7. St George's against Castletown, match postponed. And Douglas Athletic against Colby, match postponed. In rugby, Regional 2 Northwest, Bursnow against Douglas, match postponed. Counties ADMs Lancs and Cheshire, Cleethorpes Rose against Ramsey, match postponed. Women's NC North, Vagabonds against Disbury, match postponed. Harford Homes, Manx Shield, Western Vikings 36, Southern Nomads 65. In hockey, in the Mixed Premier League, Backers B2, Castletown Celts 2, Vikings A1, Harlequins A1, Valkyries 0, Backers A2, Castletown Southerners 2, Vikings B2. Mixed Division 1, Valkyries B3, Backers C2, Valkyries C3, Vikings C0. Harlequins B against Ramsey A, a late result. Mixed Division 2, Vikings D7, Backers Mixed Colts 0. Castletown Cammocks 1, Ramsey Ravens 1. Castletown Cushags 3, Castletown Cosney 1. Mixed Division 3, Vikings E 0, Backers D 11. Backers Mixed Bucks against Castletown Carracks, match postponed. Harlequins D 8, Ramsey Rookies 1. Harlequins C 2, Valkyries D 0. And then we have late results coming in from the Under-15s League, which is Harlequins against Vikings, Ramsey against Valkyries, and Castletown Savers against Backers. They are all late results coming into us here in the studio. If you have any results we are missing, by all means, please do text them through 166177 on text. Unfortunately, we cannot take WhatsApp. Unfortunately, WhatsApp has gone down in this studio, so we are unable to take your WhatsApps. So, at 8 minutes past 5, I am going to say a very good evening to Tony Mepham. Now, Tony, Amy tried her best, but we still got some sport.
We did, to be honest with you, and we're very lucky because certainly this morning and last night we were sort of looking at what weather forecast was coming in. I hope everybody understands why we left it till 10 o'clock this morning. We wanted to get it on the news stations and also onto all the social media. And we just looked at the weather forecast. There was no warnings from the emergency department, so we sat tight, and I think we've got away with it. Yes, quite a few pitches were sort of underwater. We understand that one, but I was up at Ballafletcher this afternoon, and weather conditions were perfect. The pitch was perfect. Okay, a little bit breezy, but that happens throughout sport, as you know, Ben, throughout the winter. But we've got some games on, that's the main thing, and some really interesting scores as well.
Absolutely, and one thing I was going to touch on, and I know you touched on it with Rob in Friday Preview last night, of course, there was a lot of stuff going on in the social media side of things this week regarding the referees. Now, I am aware that there's been a few games that struggled to get referees, but all go to plan today?
Not quite. Unfortunately, we had referees to cover all games because we only had sort of half the games on. But the referee didn't turn up for whatever reason. We'll get that checked why, because I phoned the office about sort of 11:30 and they were all covered, but one of the referees didn't turn up. So whether the sort of game where they were going or whatever was wrong. But no, we're glad to say we're fine, but we're struggling big time, Ben, and you've got it in your sport as well, and maybe not as bad as us, but we're working at the moment with sort of 22, 23 active referees, which is not helping us big time, and we're sort of chasing down, and really appreciate the people that do come in last minute to help us out when they see times are hard, but we'll get there. We had a big meeting on Wednesday, and hopefully we're going the right way now, and we'll try and push forward, see if we can get some more referees coming in. There's a great comment coming up later on in the score about one of the young referees who took a game today.
Absolutely. Well, let's go through the scores today on the score sheet, and we'll start at the game that you were at, and that's Corinthians against Onken, a 3-1 win to Corinthians. Yeah,
really enjoyed this game, Ben. The first half, wow. What can you say about it? The intensity for both teams was absolutely incredible, but Onken put the mark down so early. 3 minutes it was. Ethan Levers, it was an absolute pain near enough through the whole game. He's excellent. There's no doubt about it, and Corinthians do play with this three at the back, and it sort of leaves it a little bit open. And Ethan is quick enough and wise enough to exploit them spaces. And to be honest with you, he could have quite easily have had a hat-trick at half-time, but one or two sort of shots just went wide, and a couple of good saves stopped him from going in. But, no doubt about it, sort of 2 goals in 2 minutes is going to be hard for any club to stomach, and that's what happened for Corinthians, because Ben Ramsey, who it was good work down the right hand side. I think it was Morgan Naylor, and got the ball crossed in. Sean Doyle couldn't quite do anything with it, so it just fell to Ben Ramsey, and it's just the way he rolled it out with the underside of his boot, and then absolutely leathered it from about 25 yards, and the goalkeeper Joey Washington stood no chance at all, and into the goal it went. 1-0, and then 2 minutes later Josh Riders with a good strike made it sort of 2-1. So Corinthians sitting pretty. 2-1 it was at half time, but you just thought if the second half plays as the first half, they're going to be absolutely shattered, because every player was committed. And it was Sean Doyle 10 minutes into the second half who got the third goal. Unfortunately, Sean's picked up a serious injury. He's in hospital at the moment, just waiting to go in to the X-ray department. So he's in the right place. His mum and dad is with him as well. So we wish him well, and we'll just wait and see what comes out of the X-ray. But nasty challenge, and unfortunately for Sean, he's come out worse off that one. But Corinthians, I thought, had the better of the second half. Onken couldn't create too many chances. There were 3 or 4 players missing. Josh Kenyock didn't play. Also, Tom Creer didn't play. So all I can say to whatever you're doing at Onken, you're doing it right, because your first half performance was excellent. Your second half, you're all together at it. You're fit as anything. You really are putting the effort in. And talk about playing football. For a young team to play like that at that standard just shows what a great job those coaches have done to all those players, whether it's at Onken or whether it's somewhere else. A credit to them. But then I look at Corinthians as well. I have to give credit to people like Bevan Colley at the back, who was solid. You've got Jack Moyer, who has put a good real shift in. Connor Clark, we know what a quality player he is. Ben Ramsey, under 18s player of the year last year. He's come in. I think that might be his first senior start, and he was excellent. And just right the way through, Ryan Burns got injured. I think it was towards the end of the first half, and Darren Kane come on, and Darren just glued it all together. So well done, Darren. And a really good game. Congratulations to Corinthians. Puts a bit of a gap ahead of Onken now, but take a bow, Onken. You're looking good.
Absolutely. It's an incredible achievement what Onken have achieved in a short space of time, really, going forward. So far, so good. Well,
it is, Ben, but to be honest with you, you've probably seen it in hockey. Just now and then a club just has a real glut of quality players, and that's what Onken have got here. But what I like about them is the camaraderie that they work, and if a player's out of position, another player slots in and covers over. That's down to coaching, so well done to James. But just right the way through, they are a solid unit, and I'm pretty certain I'd love to see them in the Railway Cup semi-finals. I think they deserve it for the performances that I've seen this year, and today, coming across the big guns of Corinthians, they made it really difficult for them.
Absolutely, and we wish Sean Doyle all the best and a speedy recovery. Union Mills against Laxey was postponed, so the next game we're going to look at was a 6-goal thriller. Honours even. Braddon 3, Douglas High School and Old Boys 3.
Yeah, my thanks to Paul Turner on this one for coming through with all the information. And it was nip and tuck right the way through, and it was down to, I think, the nerve of Old Boys possibly at the end that held it together. We've got a bit of a match report, so let's take it. Both teams started strong with some hard tackles going in from both teams. Then on 10 minutes, Braddon were awarded a penalty with Duncan Raid stepping up to take it, only to send it wide. And the game carried on with both teams trying to get that break. And on 30 minutes, Douglas High School Old Boys Lex Johnson found the break that both teams were looking for. But Braddon didn't give up, and on 35 minutes, they got that goal they were looking for as well. Joel Ibanez sliding it past Sam Halliday, and that's how it stayed up until half-time, 1-1. Braddon came out brighter in the second half, and Duncan Raid weaving past the Old Boys defence to cross it in to Nick Harvey, who eventually found the gap to put the Braddon 2-1 up on 48 minutes. Then 2 minutes later, new signing Nathan Robinson had Braddon 3-1 up, but Old Boys didn't give up, and I'm not too sure how many minutes, Dean France gave Old Boys hope of getting back into the game, and it was the 53rd minute with both teams battling for another goal. And then Duncan Ray got his second yellow card, so that's going to be a loss for them in future games, and he got the red card. Old Boys went for it and pushed harder for that equaliser, and then came 16-year-old Callum Yates. Now, if I remember rightly, I think this is Gary's son, so great to see him in there, who showed composure. Even his dad would have been proud of this in his playing days, with both teams still pushing for that winning goal, but alas, it wasn't to be, and both teams ended with a point apiece and a fair result.
Great report there from that game. Foxdale against Peel, that was postponed, so the next one is Ayr United against St Mary's. Ayr United 0, St Mary's 4.
Yeah, and a good 3 points that for St Mary's, because Ayr United and St Mary's sort of languishing in a dangerous, well, not dangerous position, but in a position they're not used to. But today it was a good performance. Jack Murray, well done Jack, he got 2 of the goals. Therese Thompson got 1, and as you would expect, his pace on that right hand side. Joe Burkus got the other one for St Mary's, winning 4-0 against Ayr.
Russian United against St John's, that was postponed, so that concludes the Canada Life Men's Premier League. So let's have a look at Arden and Drugan Division 2, and it was Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 5, Douglas Royal 1.
Yeah, I haven't got the Douglas Royal scorer, but Ramsey Youth Centre, they got 2 goals from Tom Hall. Leighton Ballard got 1, and Adrian Skarabukcha got the other one. So well done to Ramsey Youth Centre. Douglas Royal, tough team to play, but they've done it at home, 5-1.
And well done to you for pulling off the pronunciation of that name.
Yeah, I've been practicing it for about 2 years now.
Douglas, Governors Athletic against Douglas and District, that was postponed. So Castletown against St George's, a 5-1 win for Castletown.
Yeah, good first half shift by St George's. Don't know who got that goal, but it was only 1-0 to Castletown at the halfway stage. Alex Crawley, he got 4 goals. Well done, Alex. And another one, new signing, and what a signing this is as well, from Ramsey Youth Centre, Ross Crawford, who scored all those goals. Well, it hasn't taken him long in his first game for his new club. He's bagged one on his debut, so well done there, Ross. So it finished up Castletown 5, St George's 1.
And the final fixture in this one was Maloo against Colby. That was postponed, obviously, due to the weather. So Canada Life Combination 1, Onken against Corinthians was postponed. We were looking for Laxey against Union Mills. Have you had that?
Got that, and thanks to Dean for this one. It was Laxey 5, Union Mills 3. And I haven't got any goal scorers, but when you look at Laxey, Ben, they scored 6 last week. And they've scored 5 this week, so they're scoring for fun. And I was just a bit of a stat with Rob last night that Laxey now have taken points off Russian, who were top of the table, and they beat Corinthians 6-5 last week. So they've got some good young players there, going well. But today, I'm not sure who got the goal, so if you could text us through, please, 166 177.
And we've just had a correction in. Apparently, the Castletown St George's game we were just talking about, apparently it was 5-0, not 5-1.
Okay. Changed it.
So we will just change that. So it was 5-0 in the Arden and Drugan Division 2 game between Castletown and St George's. Douglas High School and Old Boys against Braddon. We were looking for that score.
Yes, we've got that one in, and thanks very much. It was 2-1 to Douglas High School Old Boys at half time, and it was Fred Jones with 2 of the goals, Tyler Lattis Callister with the other one, and I think it was Ethan Haddock got the other one. Haven't got Braddon's goal scorers. 2-1 at half time. Now
this sounds a real close game here. Peel 2, Foxdale 3.
That's a big shock, but when you see one of the scorers here, you can maybe understand why it went Foxdale's way, because Foxdale didn't, the last first team game he didn't play, so to have someone of quality like Jay Chatwood in your team, you know you've got a chance. And Jay got one, Connor Casey got a goal, Michael Sloan scored from the penalty spot. It was Peel were 3-0 down with 15 minutes to go. Aaron Costain got 2 goals, couldn't quite get his hat-trick. One of those was from the penalty spot. And Foxdale's goalkeeper, Ashley Spencer, had an excellent first half and, kept the score down, so well done to him.
And a 10-goal thriller here at St Mary's. St Mary's taking it, though, by 6-4 over Ayr United. Yeah, I believe a real humdinger of a game, but a little bit closer than I thought it would be. But Chris Dowling with 2 of the goals for St Mary's. Darren Smethurst got 2. Chris Corlett and Max Gelling. For Ayr United, it was Andrew Crowe with a couple of goals. Alex Reid on the score sheet, and Tom Burnett got the other one. And the final fixture in this division was St John's United against Russian. That was postponed due to the weather again. Yeah. Arden and Drugan Combination 2, Moran against Jims. We were looking for that score. Got it. Moran 2, Jims 2. That's all the information we've got, Ben. Okay, so Moran 2, Jims 2 there. Yep. Michael United against Maloo was postponed due to the pitch. Yep. Douglas Royal 2, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 9. Yeah, and this is the one, I might be apologising for nothing, but evidently the referee didn't turn up, so my apologies on behalf of whatever's happened. We'll find out whether the referee or what, we're not unsure, but credit to both clubs. They found an auxiliary referee. They're happy for the score to stand. The auxiliary referee, whoever he was excellent. So maybe he could take the whistle next Saturday for us, because we are struggling for numbers. But, 9-2, great result for Ramsey Youth Centre. And definitely the star of the show was Evan Johnston. He got a hat-trick. Pippi Murphy got one. I think that's Martin. Aaron Broad got a goal. Carl Walters got one. Dylan Brown and Eugene Stone got the other one. So well done to both clubs for getting that game on. Absolutely, and it's great to hear that both clubs came together and made sure that game went ahead. Well, there's nothing more frustrating when you pitch up for a game of football for whatever reason, if the referee couldn't attend or whatever, or we've seen it before where a referee goes in the warm-up and gets injured, and then there's 22 or 30 players there with what are we going to do, and whoever stepped in today took the responsibility, and credit to them. That's what we want to see more of in Manx football. Absolutely. Douglas and District 0, Governors Athletics 7.
Yeah, good performance by Governors Athletic and Daniel Levine. He got 3 of the goals. Callum Wade with 2. Daniel Matthews with a goal, and Robert Bell on the score sheet as well. And great story on this one. Caleb Christian, who's the referee. I think he's only done 2 senior games. He's a young lad. I think he might be 16 years of age. And I believe this guy's something special. He's going to be a good one. But to come into senior football, and certainly Governors Athletic, because they're big, tall players, and you're just a little, no disrespect, we need a little referee there. But well done, Caleb. Congratulations on this. Well done coming into Manx football. And that's what we need, is some more young blood coming in and enjoying the game, and the respect being shown to them as well.
It's great to see when officials get the remarks like that there. It makes them, feel appreciated, really, to make sure that the game goes ahead, but also to know that people are really grateful for their time as well.
Well, it is, and at the FA this week we've had a bit of a torrid time because we've had the prospect of maybe having no games today because the officials weren't available. I understood their reasoning behind it. I'm absolutely delighted to say that we've been able to sort things out and we move forward. Because there's a lot of stress on the referees not being able to sort of get referees out, which we can understand, but also clubs have got to start showing a little bit more respect. And also, I think the FA have got to just listen to what the referees are saying and what ideas they've got, because certainly some of the things that we've tried over the last sort of year, 2 years, hasn't worked. So we have to get a different plan. And as I say, people keep saying to me, well, you got 53 registered, what's the problem? Well, 53 registered is totally different between 25 that are actually refereeing. Okay, someone could be registered and just pitch in for one game all year. We need someone who can sort of come in, every week. But I don't know what the answer is, Ben, because your sport's got the same problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had I can speak for hockey, and we've had an influx of 20 new umpires, which is great. But also, they're all playing as well, so they want to play as much as help out umpiring as well. So, working umpiring appointments around when they're playing and everything. I can vouch for Paul Hunter, who's the appointment secretary for the Hockey Umpires Association. It is a very hard job.
It is, but you're probably a little bit lucky that your kick-off times are varied. So, a player who may be playing at 5 o'clock can referee at 11:30 or something. Ours are near enough all the same time kick-off, and you play under floodlights, or the facilities you use have all got floodlights. We've got sort of 2 facilities, really, which is the Bowl and St John's. So it's so difficult, and with artificial surfaces always going to be there for you. Ours on grass, as some clubs have done today, not played on them because they don't want to damage them.
Absolutely. And the final 2 fixtures that we have here, St George's against Castletown and Douglas Athletic against Colby, they were all postponed, and that was all down to the weather. Looking at them fixtures that you've got to rearrange, bit of a headache coming up?
Not really. In COVID times, we had over 200 to rearrange, and we got through it. There's 1 or 2 people panicking of what we've done with Division 2 to make it an extra sort of 9 games for them, but you probably don't notice, but some of them games have already been played, so hopefully we'll get through it. It's what we've got to do, but this has been a tough start to the season weather-wise, Ben. It really has, and let's just hope it gets better, because it's frustrating. But some of the pitches today, once that wind came in and sort of took the top wet surface off, then the rest underneath is quite solid. So we're not panicking. Women's football goes ahead tomorrow. Masters is on at the Bowl. So we just keep chipping away.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about the women's as well, it's been great to see some new teams as well coming into the Women's League as well.
We're delighted, and well done to Jamie Lee for, just sort of, getting them out there this year. Simon had done some work before last year as well. But it's the chirpiness of the 2 sides that have come in, because they know that it's going to be tough. And, Russian, okay, they concede a few. And when you look at Union Mills as well, but the girls have got a smile on the face, and I think the respect being showed by the opposition means a lot to them, because it's just one of them. They've all started off in that situation, getting beaten and struggling a little bit. But when the Floodlight Cup comes up, the games are a little bit shorter, 35 minutes each way. And that's a new experience for them as well, to play under floodlights. Certainly if you've got that afternoon kick-off where you kick off at 3:40, it can be really good. But great to see two new teams in.
I mean, I saw on social media there, Rushden United, their first game. I'd seen a load of photos that were shared on social media, and just the crowd that were there. I mean, that definitely must have helped as well, that first game of the season at home, and they had that such big support there. Yeah,
well, you got Rushden's sort of great committee that worked tirelessly down there, and well done to them for giving the opportunity for the women's to come in. Donna Harrison's been around for a long time in the women's game, and she's absolutely outstanding, and she's taken it on herself, and the other girls are bought into it, and it's brilliant. We've still got the two strong teams, Peel and Corinthians. We can't do anything about that, but Rushden have been in the place. I remember Rushden years ago beating or hammering Corinthians, and it's just the way sport goes. But it's good. Douglas Royal are in there, top of the league, and playing really well. And then when you look at Onken, you've also got Malou in there. It's absolutely brilliant, and we'd like some more teams because they do bring something to the club. The girls can come in and go on committees and just help look after the ground and everything, and be part of the club. And I know certainly at Corinthians, there's a lot of respect between the men and the women's team, because you're all in it together. You're all wearing the same shirt, and you want to win.
Absolutely, and I know the Malou team has got quite a few of the Castletown Hockey Club that play. So hockey on a Saturday, football on a Sunday sounds a bit like I forget his name now, the artist that sings that song, but it sounds a proper weekend, really.
Well, it does, and I think I watched, I think it was the end of last year, Peel against Malou, and like every time sort of Malou came to nearly score a goal, there was a big woo from everyone, and that's great to see. But Malou won a trophy last year and got into a final as well, so it just shows you how quick, with a bit of determination, you can get through. But those hockey players, they're good at what they do, playing hockey. So really the football, just understand the rules and the rest comes.
Absolutely. Tony, for now, thank you very much.
Manx Radio Sport.
29 minutes past 5 here on Classifieds here on AM, and we're going to head on down to the bowl and join Rob Pritchard. And Rob, that's very loud, Rob. Let's just turn you down slightly there. The music's playing in the background there. Let's hope the atmosphere is going to build up nicely for FC Alaman against Barnoldswick Town. Rob, you have team news.
I do indeed, yes. Good evening, Ben. Good evening, everyone. For the first time in 3 weeks to the Bowl Stadium in Douglas, ahead of the NWCFL Premier Division action getting back underway here between FC Alaman and Barnoldswick Town. Let's start by bringing you team news for both sides. For the hosts, their first team under new caretaker manager Rick Holden is in, and there are some notable additions and omissions in this FC Alaman squad for tonight's game. 6 players from the 0-0 draw at Pilkington a fortnight ago drop out. Goalkeeper Adam Killier, along with Callum Hudson, Callum Sherry, Dean Pinnington, Charlie Higgins and Ethan Martin Edge. 7 additions come into the squad, and a couple of notable ones at that. One of those, just under 900 days since he last pulled on an FC Isle of Man shirt. Carl Clark, veteran defender, is back into the mix, having not played for the Ravens since April 2023. Not only does he come in, but he also is in the team from the outset, from the start as well. Another of those that's making their way in is veteran goalkeeper Mark Blair. It'll be his first appearance on an FC Isle of Man team sheet this season. Also coming back into the fold are Michael Williams, Adam Adebayi, Sam Gelling and Steve Whitley, and goalkeeper Ben Wilkinson. So your FC Isle of Man starting 11 is as follows. In goal is Ben Wilkinson, then it's Luke Booth, Josh Kane, captain Alex Maitland, Carl Clark, Carl Watson, Steve Whitley, Sam Gelling, Joe Middleton, Sam Baines and Adam Adebayi. The substitutes for FC Isle of Man are Danny Gerrard, Ben Wasser, Jean Marquez, Michael Williams and Mark Blair. And for Barnoldswick Town, who've gone through some recent changes themselves in the managerial department, it's James Stokes' second game in charge after he took charge for the first time in Barnoldswick Town's 3-1 away win at Longridge Town in the Macron Cup 7 days ago. His squad looks as follows. The only changes to the squad is that it's a slightly smaller squad this week than the one that faced Longridge Town last time out. Both Sakuba Sanogo and captain last week, Andrew Hill, drop out. There are no replacements this time, meaning he only has 3 substitutes available at his disposal this evening. So the Barnoldswick Town team is as follows. In goal is Dale Latham, and then it's Charlie Rowlands White Oak, Bruno Carnaval, James Ormerod, Tyler Beck, captain Brandon Barsky, Samuel Unwin, Ethan Goff, Gareth Hill, Lewis Farmer and Conor Macaulay, and the 3 substitutes for Barnoldswick Town are George Lord, Alexander Maloney and Luke Stowe. Your referee this evening is Rob Slinger, and his assistants are Matty Shaw and Stephanie Shaw. Well, for FC Isle of Man, it is the start of a new era for the first time since November 2022. Nearly 3 years under Paul Jones has come to an end. He departed the club, and coming into his place is a former Manchester City and Oldham Athletic player, and someone with a rich coaching history since he moved to the Isle of Man nearly 30 years ago in Rick Holden. Here on a temporary basis, and we don't know for how long, but one thing is for sure, he and his team will be looking to making a strong first impression in what is a new chapter that FC Isle of Man fans will be hoping is penned by an optimistic author this evening. For Barnoldswick Town, as I alluded to before, it's been all change for them. James Stokes, second game in charge of Barnoldswick Town and his first in the league as well. Not much change in his squad, and Barnoldswick Town, they come here to the Bowl with a positive record. Every time they've visited Manx Shores, they have been unbeaten, a win and 2 draws since they've first visited the Bowl a couple of years ago. They're yet to taste defeat here. FC Isle of Man looking to try and get some valuable points on the board. In context of the table, FC Isle of Man started the weekend 3rd from bottom, 22nd in the table, and just 1 point above the relegation zone. Realistically, if they were to get maximum points here this evening and get the Rick Holden chapter off to the best possible start, they could climb as many as 2 places in the table. It's a similar motivation for Barnoldswick Town as well. They could climb as many as 3 places up from 18th where they stand at the moment if they were to take 3 points tonight. Storm Amy seems to have passed, as we've been hearing throughout this afternoon. The sun is out, and although it's a little bit blustery, it looks like pretty positive conditions for both sides to take to the field this evening. So, will this new era, this new journey under caretaker manager Rick Holden get off to the best possible start, or can Barnoldswick Town force FC Isle of Man into a little bit more of a rethink over the weeks to come? We'll have to wait and see. FC Isle of Man versus Barnoldswick Town kick off at 6 p.m. Full coverage, full live match commentary from 6 p.m. here on Manx Radio AM 1368.
Rob, thanks very much. Just listening to the team news there, some big names there that aren't in the starting lineup. What do you think that Rick maybe is going to try differently to what Paul's been trying recently?
It's very difficult to say from a tactical perspective. You've got to bear in mind that Rick Holden has only had a very small amount of time with these players. Yes, FC Isle of Man didn't have a game last weekend. They're not involved in the Macron Cup competition, which started last Saturday. But nevertheless, he'll have only had limited time to work with these players as well. So from a tactical standpoint, not only is it a little bit of an unknown going into this evening, but also he'll be wanting to work his magic over the coming weeks as well. Along with he taking the hot seat, there have been a couple of changes in the coaching staff as well. It looks like they've brought in as well Chris Bass Jr. and Matty Woods to be helping out in the coaching department, 2 very familiar names in Manx football in recent years. When it comes to the team selection, I have been told that with at least a few of the players, particularly Callum Sherry, Dean Pennington and Charlie Higgins at the very least, that is due to general unavailability that they are not involved this weekend. With the other players, not too sure, but it will be that little bit of a mix, it seems, as we've seen in previous weeks under Paul Jones as well. Availability has certainly toed and frown in this FC Isle of Man squad. It means they just haven't had the consistency that maybe they've wanted to in terms of team selection throughout this season. That might be something that Rick Holden has to juggle throughout his tenure here. We'll have to wait and see, but all we know in the short term is they'll be doing their best to try and get 3 points on home soil in front of a home crowd.
Absolutely, Rob. You go and keep warm, and we will catch up with you just before 6 o'clock. But for now, thank you very much, Rob Pritchard. Tony, we were talking off air there about the team news. Like we said, some big names there missing, but could it be the changes that maybe FC Isle of Man need?
Possibly, because when you look at 3 of the stars, Charlie's done well, scored a few goals and stuff. But when you look at Dean Pennington, he's not available. Callum Sherry's made that right fullback spot his own. But Dean's needs to find a little bit more, I think, for that team, because he's one of the key players. But when you look at Carl Clark-Bowders of experience, Carl, the Ireland centre-back, so he's come in. And when you look at Mark Blair, he's won the Interleague Cup with the Ireland senior team as well, so he's got experience. But I think Rick Holden, looking back at that, he's been brilliant for us at the Isle of Man FA. He's brought a lot of knowledge into it, and with Chris Bass and Matthew Woods there, just sort of helping along. But Rick will suss it out very, very quickly tactically, and if it doesn't have to be pretty, he'll make it not pretty. You don't have to go tippy-tappy all the time. Sometimes that maybe Paul Jones's players did. This time, if Rick needs to go route one and use Steve Whitley on the right-hand side and maybe Adam Adibayi on the left-hand side, or whoever, Luke Booth, then he'll do that. He's not bothered if he wins scruffy, as long as he wins.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, we'll let you get going down to the bowl. Thank you very much indeed.
Manx Radio Sport.
23 minutes to 6. Let's go to Dave Christian. Now, Dave, just the one game. We had 4 games, but only the one went ahead.
Yeah, it's Storm Amy did its work this afternoon. In fact, some of it was done yesterday as well. Burnage and Douglas was postponed. That's down to travel arrangements. Burnage have an all-weather surface there in Stockport, so there was no doubt that the pitch would be okay. It's just Douglas's travel arrangements. Same with Ramsey away at Clitheroe. The boat was cancelled late on Thursday, which gave everybody plenty of notice, I guess. So thanks to the Isle of Man Steam Packet for that. And Vagabonds ladies were playing Didsbury Toc H this afternoon, and that was postponed as well, with Didsbury having travel difficulties. The Hertford Holmes Manx Shield, though, did go ahead, and everybody was very resilient down there at Peel. It was QE2 High School, and I thought beforehand, I fancied Nomads would be strong enough to do it, but I thought it would be pretty close. And in the end, it was quite a comprehensive win for Southern Nomads. They won 65-36. However, the first half was pretty much how I expected it. It was the blistering second half performance from Southern Nomads that did the job, because at half-time, Western Vikings actually led 21-20. The first half was tit for tat. Dick Seed sliced through the Vikings defence to give Nomads an early lead. Matt Rockwell hit back for Vikings. Cam Finley's conversion gave them a slender lead. Then Gerard Landell scored at the other end for Nomads. Then Tom Randall was back at the other end for Western Vikings. Finley converting again. Connor Stevens put Nomads ahead before Finley struck at the other end and converted his own try. And it was only a late first half score from Jack Slight that brought Nomads into striking distance, and 21-20. Nomads with 4 tries in that first half, which gave them a bonus point as well. So we were looking forward to the second half. We thought if that first half's anything to go by, the second half's going to be great. And it kind of was if you were a Nomads supporter, because Connor Stevens took his second try just after the half-time break, and suddenly the floodgates opened. There were tries run in from all angles. Rob Crane got one, Owen Carvin got one, George Antill got one, and Kyle Martin got one. And that was all in pretty quick succession, and from being 21-20 in front, Western Vikings are suddenly 53-21 down. They weren't done, though. They had a fourth try came from Ed Knight. He stretched a long arm out to just dot the ball down on the line. That gave them the fourth try and a try bonus point. Cam Finley converted that one. Kieran Stevens picked up a fifth try. That reduced the lead to 53-31, and we thought, hey, there might be a little comeback coming here, but it wasn't to be. Nomads finally killed the game off. Kyle Martin and Brian Skillicorn both picked up tries. Vikings did have the final say with a late try, and I'm embarrassed to say I didn't see who scored it. But we'll try and pick that one up for a little bit later on. We maybe get that out on manxradio.com when we get the match report in. But by that stage, the game was well and truly lost. So it's pretty tight in the Harvard Home Manx Shield now. We've had 2 games so far, and that means Southern Nomads and Douglas Celts are tied at the top, with Western Vikings in third place. And off the top of my head, I can't remember for sure, I think there may be a fixture next week between Southern Nomads and Douglas, which may see a bit of a change in that league table. But fair play to everybody today. It was a cracking afternoon down at Peel. A little bit blowy, but the players got on with it. Some great commitment, and that first half was a terrific affair with only 1 point in it at half-time.
Yeah, I can absolutely agree with you, Dave. I was running around on the hockey pitch while you were down the other end of the field watching the rugby, and it was very windy in Peel indeed.
Yes, I've been drafty, and I would suspect Bella Fletcher, which might explain why Cam Finley was pretty accurate with his conversions this afternoon. He's used to kicking up. He was guesting, obviously, for Western Vikings. He normally plays at Vagabonds. Cam Finley up there kicking goals in the wind at Bella Fletcher normally, and he had it worked out perfectly. He was firing the ball into the wind and letting the wind bring it round through the posts, and a little bit of a lesson there, I think, from Cam Finley about how to kick in windy conditions. But onwards and upwards, I think we've got league action next week. Vagabonds away at Ashton-under-Lyne. Ramsey are away at Colne and Nelson as well. And I can't quite remember who Douglas are playing next week, although I think I did have the fixture list up in front of me. I do indeed. I'll just have a quick look. Douglas are at home against Winnington Park next week. There have been some games played in their league. Douglas were 4th. They've dropped to 6th, but that's only because some of the teams below them have won today. So that might look a little bit different next week after that game against Winnington Park.
Absolutely, and Southern Nomads will be having a great evening tonight. Of course, they got that victory today, but also tonight it's their Melia.
It is, and it's I think it's a Western Vikings Melia as well. That's being held with Peel Football Club. It's a joint do. I think it's at Peel Golf Club. And of course Southern Nomads have got theirs at the station in Port St Mary. So yeah, 2 big rugby Melias tonight. There'll be lots of people waking up in the morning surrounded by random vegetables that they've paid an awful lot of money for.
Absolutely. Dave, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you next week. Dave Christian there with our rugby.
Manx Radio Sport.
And finally, at 17 minutes to 6 here, we will look at the hockey action that has took place here on Ireland, and we're going to start in the Mixed Premier League. And Backers A kept their 100% record going today with a 2-0 win over Valkyries A. Andrew Whiting and Jamie Brown on the score sheet, meaning that Backers B and Castletown Celts, it means that Castletown Celts had to go and get the win to keep the pressure on to Backers A, because they were only 1 point behind going into this weekend. And Backers A will be thanking their B team because they held Castletown Celts to a 2-2 draw, meaning the gap at the top has opened now to 2 points between Backers A and Castletown Celts. Robbie Valerga and Sarah Farragher for Castletown Celt, Carl Moore and Johnny Callow on the score sheet for Backers B. The other games in this league, Vikings A against Harlequins A. How would Vikings would have loved to have got back to winning ways this weekend? It just has not happened. Harlequins A have held them to a 1-1 draw here. It was Eddie Cayley for Vikings A and Rachel Milton on the score sheet for Harlequins A, meaning a point apiece. The final fixture in this league was between the bottom 2 teams, Vikings B sitting second from bottom, and Castletown Southerners yet to get some points on the board this season, and they've managed it today, but only with a draw, meaning that the gap at the bottom still remains very close. A 2-2 draw between the two sides here. Al Ledgers and Robbie Valerga for Castletown Southerners, with husband and wife Jess Birch and Alex Birch on the score sheet for Vikings B. In Mixed Division 1, an absolute thriller at QE2 this morning. A 3-2 victory for Valkyries B, ending Backers C's 100% record to this point today. Andrea Littlejohn, Chris Cadwell and Neil Jacobs for Valkyries B, with Jack Grimbley and Ollie Christian on the score sheet for Backers C. Looking at the other fixtures, we have Valkyries C getting a 3-0 win over Vikings C, so that means Vikings C still rooted to the bottom in this division. A hat-trick from Chris Thomas, giving Valkyries C the win there. We are looking for the Harlequins B against Ramsey A score in this Mixed Division 1. We haven't got it through. It was a late pushback at Ramsey, so if you have that score, 166177 on text or email studio@manxradio.com. Again, sadly, WhatsApp has gone down in the studio, so we are not quite able to take your WhatsApps. In Mixed Division 2, Vikings D came out 7-0 winners over Backers Mixed Colts this morning. Jack Woods with a hat-trick, Bruce Gimbert with 2, Jan Kane and Joe Roney with 1 goal each, giving Vikings D a 7-0 win over Backers Mixed Colts there. Castletown Celts against Ramsey Ravens. Ramsey Ravens still looking for that first win And the wait carries on. They have been held to a 1-1 draw against Castletown Camags. This league is looking very, very close indeed. Castletown Camags' goal scorer was Fern Bagazzi, with Ramsey Ravens' goal scorer Kyle Kane. The other game in this league was a Castletown derby between Castletown Cushags and Castletown Cosney. Cushags coming out on top with a 3-1 win over Cosney. Kieran Collister with 2 and Paul Bolt with 1 for Cushags, with the consolation from Cosney coming from Rebecca Kelly. In Mixed Division 3, 11 goals scored by Backers Mixed D gave them a victory over Vikings E. Christian Davis with 5, Dave Neal with 5 and Richie Weir with just the 1, giving Backers D that 11-0 win over Vikings E. Backers Mixed Bucks against Castletown Carricks. That was the early pushback due to be played at Castle Rushen High School. That game was postponed to give time for the pitch to be cleared after Storm Amy. In the other fixtures in this league, Harlequin C 2, Valkyries D 0. Valkyries D's 100% record comes to an end as Harlequin C take the 2-0 victory over them. Lara Smith and Sam Cunningham, well done my brother, well done with a goal there, giving Harlequin C a 2-0 win there. The other fixture in this league was Harlequins D against Ramsey Rookies, and that was an 8-1 win for Harlequins D. Isla Rosal for Ramsey Rookies, and then Sophie Knighton with 2, Zach Barlow with 2, Josh Halumbi with 1, and some fella called Ben Cunningham. I don't know who he is, but he got a hat-trick. So, great result there for Harlequins D. And I believe that next weekend, both Harlequins D and Harlequins C meet in a derby. Finally, in the Mixed Under-15s League, we have Harlequins 3, Vikings 0, Ollie Barber with 2 and Sam Neto with 1. Ramsey 0, Valkyries 5, Lucas Adams with 2, Harry Lewis with 1, Olivia Ryder-Clegg with 1 and Emily Moyer with 1. And the final fixture, Castletown Savers against Backers. That was a 6-1 win for Castletown Savers. The Backers goal scorer was Eben Moore, and the goal scorers for Castletown Savers was Christopher Crompton Harvey with 4 and Scarlett Crompton Harvey with 2. We are still looking for that result on the Mixed Division 1 game between Harlequins B and Ramsey A. If you know that score, please do text it through 166177 on text, or email studio@manxradio.com.
Manx Radio Sport.
So that concludes Classifieds here this evening, but as always, we will leave you with the headlines. In football, wins for Corinthians and St Mary's, with Braddon and Douglas High School and Old Boys held to a 3-3 draw. In Arden and Druggan Division 1, wins for Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys and Castletown. In Canada Life Combination 1, wins for Laxey and Douglas High School and Old Boys and Foxdale and St Mary's. In Arden and Druggan Division Combination 2, Marown against Jims, that ended 2-2. Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys get 9 past Douglas Royal, and Governors Athletic gets 7 past Douglas and District. In rugby, only the one game that happened today, and that was in the Hartford Homes Manx Shield. Southern Nomads getting the better of Western Vikings. They win by 65 points to 36. In the Mixed Premier League in hockey, Backers A keep their 100% record going with a 2-0 win over Valkyries A. Elsewhere, it was all draws between Harlequins and Vikings, Backers Mixed B and Castown Celt, and Castown Southerners against Vikings B. Mixed Division 1, Valkyries B get the better of Backers C by 3 goals to 2. Valkyries C get the better of Vikings C by 3 goals. And of course we are waiting for that score between Harlequins B and Ramsey A. Vikings D get 7 past Backers Mixed Colts. Castown Camags and Ravens end 1-1. And Cushags take the derby by 3 goals to 1 over Cosney. Mixed Division 3, Backers D get 11 past Vikings E, Harlequins D get 8 past Ramsey Rookies, and Harlequins C end Valkyries D 100% record with a 2-0 win over them. And finally in the mixed under 15s, wins for Harlequins, Valkyries and Castown Sabres. And that concludes Full-Time and Classified here on Manx Radio AM. Thank you as always for your company. Big thank you as always to Dave Christian and Tony Mepham. We're going to head on down now to the bowl to join Rob Pritchard and Tony Mepham for FC Alaman against Bonalswick Town. The big moment has come for Rick. Can he get that first win in caretaker charge here for FC Alaman? Come on, you Ravens. Simon Quine joins you next week for Full-Time and Classifieds. I'm in for Friday Sport Preview.